Yes. Good day, everyone. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. So the purpose of this YouTube channel is to train you and teach you on structural designs and detailing. And the YouTube channel is actually meant for students, graduates, and career professionals also. So on this YouTube channel, we are actually breaking down structural design of steel and reinforced concrete to the barest minimum in which anybody that watches our YouTube videos or our paid videos would actually have an understanding on how to design a reinforced concrete or a steel structure. So um the softwares that we are actually using for this various designs are um Data Structure and Start Pro. So for the Start Pro, we'll be starting by January. But for now, what we are using to teach our audiences are Data Structure. So now let us start. Let's start now. But what I want to teach you guys today is just something that is simple and it's something that is going to be very short. I want to teach you guys some common mistakes that I've seen in structural designs, especially in the design of a combined footing. Yeah, so I've actually seen so many mistakes in the way they detail their combined footing. So what I mean by a combined footing is a part footing or any type of footing that has more than one column that is actually sitting on it. So this maybe you have like two or three columns sitting on a particular footing. That is what we mean by a part footing. So the mistakes that is being made. So I just said I should do this video to actually address some common mistakes that I see. I even see it in all these big multinational firms also. The various mistakes that they make when you're actually designing, sorry, when you are detailing a combined footing. Now, now there are some things that you need to know is that when you're detailing a combined footing, a combined footing is actually going to have both top and bottom reinforcement. Yes, it will have both top and bottom reinforcement compared to an isolated footing that has only a bottom reinforcement. So that's one difference between a part footing, an isolated footing, and a combined footing. The second mistake that I see people making is the fact that the way they place the reinforcement of the combined footing is wrong. There is a difference between the way you place a reinforcement of a combined footing and also a reinforcement of the part footing. Like I said, what we are doing today is just basically detailing, not design. So many detailing mistakes that I've seen and that I've noticed. So if you come to this place, the combined footing has tension in both faces along its length due to two columns causing a span moment in addition to cantilever moment. So that reinforcement is required in the top between columns and in the bottom outside the column as shown in the bending moment diagram. So this is the bending moment diagram of a combined footing. So you see that for a combined footing, you actually require a top moment because there is actually moment at the top. It's just as if you're actually designing a continuous beam. You can see it here, you can see it here, you can see that there's a moment at the top here. So you need to provide the reinforcement to actually counter the effect of the moment. But for an isolated footing, you do not have any moment at the top, so you don't need to provide a top reinforcement. Now, let's now go to the detailing proper. Like I said, is actually a top and a bottom reinforcement to actually counter the effect of the top moment. Now let's go to the detailing proper now. Now let me go to my AutoCAD and show you what I'm talking about. Yes, let's go to the AutoCAD so I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the template that I've been talking about. Now, I don't have a combined footing here, but I'm going to create a combined footing here. I'll create a combined footing here. So let me just bring out this. Let me just bring out this. So let me bring out this. Let me copy this. Let me copy this and let me put this here. So let me move this. This is just me just creating a combined footing. So I can be able to explain what I'm actually talking about. Yeah. So I'm coming. Let me move this to the back here. Let me move this. So so now this is what I'm talking about now. This is an example of combined footing. You have two columns sitting on the um footing, thereby creating what a moment at the top in the bending moment diagram which I just showed you now. So this is an example of a combined footing. Let me bring out the section of it. Let me bring out the section of this. So so this is the section. So this is the section now. Now, the first thing you need to know, just have this at the back of your mind, is that when you're detailing for a combined footing, it has both a top and a bottom reinforcement. It has both what top and bottom reinforcement. So what we need to do now is to what is to provide what a top reinforcement for this. So let's provide a top reinforcement for this. And how do we go about that? Let's mirror this. Let's mirror this. Let's mirror this. I'm trying to show you the common mistakes that we make when we are actually detailing a combined footing. I have even seen it in all those big consultancy firms in Nigeria. I've seen the various mistakes that they make. So that's why I said that I actually need to do a video on it. I need to do a video on it. So let me bring this down also. Let's bring this down. Also, let's bring this down. So now please, are we together? Now, first observation number one is what? Is having what? A top reinforcement. So let's give it a top reinforcement. Let me delete this. Or let me trim this off rather. And also let me trim this off here rather. So let's remove this. Yes, so let's remove this also. Let's remove this. So let's remove this. Yes, so very good. So I've actually created what? The top reinforcement for it. That is the first thing. Now, the major mistakes that I see people making when they actually um detailing a combined footing is that is in the reinforcement placement. Okay, this one is 2 3 by 2 3. Okay, let me just make this. Let me just extend this so you will actually have an understanding of what I'm talking about. Yeah, let me extend this. Most combined footings are not square footings. Most of them are actually rectangular footings. Let me extend this. Let me extend this. Okay, very good. I just want you to have an handle of what I'm actually talking about. Very good. Then I can move this. I can move this. Yes, then I can move this. Yes, I can move this. Yes, hmm. So this is what I'm talking about now. So this is an example of a combined foot. Okay, I don't know if I can stretch. Let me see if this can be stretched. Okay, stretch this. So this is a combined footing. So I don't know. Let me see what we have here. Okay, so you have 3.01 meter by 2.3 meter. Okay, so now this is what we have. Bamak 1, we have Bamak. So let me make this Bamak 2. Yeah, so let me make this Bamak 2. Yeah, 16 at 150. Now, the major mistake that we make that is being made during the detailing is wrong placement of reinforcement. Which one is the main bar and which one is the distribution bar? Now, for an isolated footing, the main reinforcement is the one at the shorter span. Is the what? Is the one at the shorter span. That is the main reinforcement. Where are we? Okay, so this is where we are. This is an isolated footing. So the main reinforcement is the what? Is the one at the what? At the shorter span. That is if I'm actually dealing with a rectangular footing. If I'm dealing with a rectangular footing and not a square footing. So let me make this a rectangular footing just for explanation purpose. Let me make this a rectangular footing. Let me make this a rectangular footing. Okay, very good. Now, this is what? Okay, 1.1803 meter. So for this one now, the main reinforcement is the reinforcement along the 1.7 meter, which is what? The shorter span. That is for an isolated footing. But when you come to a combined footing, the main reinforcement is the one along the what? Along the longer span. And in this instance, the main reinforcement is what? Is actually Bamak what? Is what? Bamak 1. Bamak 1 is the main reinforcement. Why? Because it is the one along the longer span. Why the distribution bar is the one along the what? Shorter span, which is what? Which is Bamak 2. So these ones are Bamak 2. That is the distribution bar. It is a very, very important it is a very, very important thing that most people do not really take cognizance of. I repeat myself again, the main reinforcement is the one along the longer span for a combined footing, which is what Bamak 1. You can see it here. Why the distribution bar is the one along the shorter span for a combined footing, but for an isolated footing, the reverse is the case. The reverse is the case. The reverse is the case for an isolated footing. So this is just me trying to explain to you guys what I'm actually talking about. So let's delete this. So and I'm going to show you guys the proof of how I got to know that this is the way it is for a combined footing. Now let's go to steel detailers manual. Let's go to detailers manual. So this is the detailers manual. So we have a combined footing of 2.25 by what? By 5.75, and we have two columns there. Now, when you look at this properly and you look at the section, you see that this is what? This is Bamak 4. This is Bamak 4. And let's go to where we have Bamak 4. Now, the Bamak 4 is actually telling us that the Bamak 4 is telling us that this reinforcement, this long reinforcement here, the one that is spanning across the longer span is Bamak 4. Then we have another long reinforcement here also spanning along the longer span is what? Bamak 5. So you have Bamak 4 and Bamak 5 being the main reinforcement for a combined footing. Are we together? Now, the distribution bar in this instance is what? Bamak 6. So for the Bamak 6 now, you have how many numbers of this thing reinforcement? You have 26 numbers of reinforcement. So when you check the distribution bar that you have here, you will see that if you count these numbers of distribution bars that are showing on the section, you see that it's actually 26. It's actually 26. So let's count. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2024, 25, 26. So here now, the shorter span, which is what? Bamax 6. Bamax 6 is what? Is the distribution bar. Why the main reinforcement is what? Along the longer span, which is what? Bamax 4 and Bamax 5 in the what? Manual. Detailers manual. So now this is one this literature. Now let's go to a textbook by engineer Dr. Victor Oyenuga, which is this foundation designed by engineer Dr. Victor Oyenuga. So this section and this detailing was actually gotten from engineer Dr. Victor Oyenuga's textbook. So we have actually seen the first one in the detailers manual. Why we will now be trying to try and corroborate also in an engineering textbook. Now, when you look at this combined footing, the main reinforcement is telling us here is what Bamac 3, right? So let's go to Bamac 3 now. Let's try and see which of the reinforcement is Bamac 3. So you can see for Bamac 3, the main reinforcement is the one at the bottom. Um, yes, the main reinforcement is what but you can see that the main reinforcement is the one spanning across the longest span. Is the one spanning across what? Across the longer span. That is the main reinforcement. You can see that the Bama tree is the longer one compared to the isolated footing. Why the distribution bar is what? Is Bamac 1. Is Bamac 1, you can see. So the distribution bar is the shorter one, while the main reinforcement is the longer one. So please kindly take note of this. The longer span for a combined footing is the main reinforcement. The shorter one is the distribution bar. The shorter one for an isolated footing is the main reinforcement, while the longer one is the distribution bar. So please kindly take note of this when you're detailing, because I've seen so many mistakes and so many detailing mistakes that I have actually noticed in the course of reviewing engineering textbooks. So thank you very much and see you in the next class.